Welcome to your Pure Electric podcast. I'm Matthew, your host. Pure Electric, solar, wind, renewables, battery storage, and efficiency. And on today's podcast, we're going to look at Pure Electric and Zero Emission Australia's joint project, the Zero Carbon Australia Energy Plan 2035. The plan is about taking all of Australia's energy electrified, 100% renewable energy. And the plan is about taking us from 260 terawatt hours today, or 260,000 gigawatt hours of electricity demand, right up to 400,000 gigawatt hours, which will encompass the electrification of transport and low temperature space heating and water heating using heat pumps. And it will also encompass any energy growth out to 2035, so over the next 10 years. So today we're on 260,000 gigawatt hours, or 260 terawatt hours, and in 2035 we'll be on 400 terawatt hours, but we will also be 100% renewable energy. This plan's practical, achievable, and uses the technology that's available today off the shelf and the iterative improvements in that technology over the next 10 years as we roll out the 100% renewable plan for Australia. So first up, we'll cover solar. Solar will contribute 50% of the future energy requirements of Australia. Today, we have 40 gigawatts of solar on the grid. We'll need to quadruple that, so 4 times as much, and take that to 180 gigawatts on the grid. So 140 gigawatts more solar, which is the equivalent of an average of 20 kilowatts of rooftop solar installed on half of Australia's households. In reality, we would not have to install as many panels as that on households, because we'll also be installing them on commercial and industrial sites. So think supermarkets, shopping centres, warehouses, and industrial manufacturing facilities. So that's our solar contribution. The average efficiency today of solar panels on the Australian grid is around 20%. That will rise to 27%, will be the efficiency of the additional 140 gigawatts. Today, panels are hovering just short of 24% efficient. So that will grow over the 10 years and mean that the average deployment will be 27% efficient panels, which is pretty amazing, because when I put the first panels on my roof, they were less than 13% efficient back in the year 2000. So moving on to wind. Wind will be contributing the other half of the nation's electricity by 2035. That's 200 terawatt hours, or 200,000 gigawatt hours of electricity from wind. Today we have 12,000 megawatts of wind and about 3,500 wind turbines around Australia. We will need to multiply that by 6-fold, so 6 times as much wind as there is today. So we'll need to double the amount of turbines, or almost double them, and install another 7,500 wind turbines. There'll be an average of 9 megawatts each, and they'll have a blade diameter of between 170 metres and 270 metres. In terms of swept area, we're talking 23,000 square metres to 53,000 square metres in terms of swept area. And at the higher end, that's equivalent of about 7 soccer pitches. So that's how the wind will be deployed. These turbines are available today off the shelf. In fact, there's even bigger turbines available off the shelf than what we're suggesting. The wind will be deployed in predominantly nocturnal biased sites, so they'll be taking advantage of the jet stream, and they will complement solar. So on the inland plains of Australia, will be the choice locations for these wind turbines. Now, firming this all up will be our storage on the grid. Today we've got existing storage, so 200 gigawatt hours of hydro, plus we've got 200 gigawatt hours of hydro coming online once Snowy Hydro 2 is turned on, and that's under construction at the moment. The rest will be new battery chemical storage, so it'll be lithium-ion battery technologies transitioning to sodium battery technologies over the plan, and that they'll become the predominant battery as they use less expensive material inputs and are cheaper to build. So we will look at 300 gigawatt hours of behind the meter storage, and that'll be the equivalent of about 60 kilowatt hours of battery storage on half of all Australian houses, or 30 kilowatt hours for every house. In addition, there'll be 300 gigawatt hours of additional grid side storage, so it'll be co-located at substations and renewable energy facilities on the grid. And then finally, there'll be 200 gigawatt hours of rolling storage. So that's storage that's available via V2G technologies, that's vehicle to grid, via AC and DC chargers that allow feeding back to the grid. So our car fleet's going to electrify over the next 10 years, and we'll be able to access during the supercritical peak periods, so a stretch of say 3-4 days in the middle of winter where solar production is low, correlating with low wind, then we'll be able to seek support from those vehicle to grid rolling storage batteries. We've also got engineered curtailment, so that's where we've intentionally allowed in the plan for 60 terawatt hours of power that will not be generated. It's available to be generated, but it won't be used initially until some innovators come along and find uses for very cheap electricity that's available predominantly for 8 months of the year, and definitely not available for 20 to 30 days of the year out of 365 days. So that's 60,000 gigawatt hours of energy will be intentionally curtailed under the plan, but it is available for future energy uses, and we envisage that people will find low capital cost ways of using that energy for manufacturing or other purposes. So bringing it all together, we've got a plan that will achieve 100% renewable energy. It will take advantage of technologies that are already here and already being deployed. It will extend the renewable deployments that are already there at rates that are not dissimilar in growth than what we've seen in the past during renewable energy boom times. That means this is all achievable at a cost of around $360 billion, so cheaper than the AU US UK nuclear submarine project, cheaper than the ridiculously underquoted nuclear plan from the Liberal Party, which we haven't heard much of lately, and it will mean there's no more smokestacks, no more tailpipes, for a healthy, safe energy future. So this is exciting stuff where our domestic passenger transport is electrified rail, trams and trains, or private vehicles, taxis that are electric, so Ubers that are electric or similar, and all running on renewable energy. Transportation, mass transport of goods will be using electrified semis and last mile delivery vehicles that are electric. So all this will come together to give us a fantastic renewable energy future that's achievable now. What we need now is the Greens and Teals and Independents to get behind this plan, to pressure Labor to also adopt, and then finally it'll be inevitable and the Liberal Party won't be able to keep suggesting their ludicrous, crazy nuclear plan, which is unachievable, because renewables are almost inevitable today, but with a focus on this plan will be inevitable in just a few years. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to bringing you more content on the Pure Electric channel. Thanks again. Bye for now.